Hey there, my name's Jeff Fritz, and I'm back with another Ask a Developer video, and this time I'm here with Erik Guzman. Erik, it's great to see you.
Hey,
Why don't you give a quick intro for the folks who haven't seen you before?
yeah, so my name is Erik Guzman, better known on Twitch as Talk to Be Guzman. If you don't notice already, Guzman and Guzman, very close, not very intentional.
Sure.
I'm a live streamer, live coder on Twitch. I've been doing it for 2 years now.
Cool.
Almost about a month away in October. And I stream web development, JavaScript, Ruby on Rails, React, Vue, sometimes Angular. And I love to experiment. I love to engage with my audience, and I just like to have a fun time while I stream and code.
Now, you mentioned a couple different languages there. When you're out and you want to learn more about those languages, what kinds of topics do you look for that want to help you advance your knowledge in those languages, those technologies? What things are you looking to read more about?
So I have like a multi-pronged approach to it. So one is I'm lucky enough to have a Safari Books online subscription.
Oh.
It's a little bit pricey, but I got grandfathered into a 50% discount.
Nice.
So I'll go on Safari Books, try to read some traditional kind of educational books and peruse through those and try to absorb some information on that. Another avenue is I use blogs. So I go out and seek blog posts on the content. YouTube channels. So I follow a lot of different coding YouTube channels.
Interesting. Okay.
And I watch videos. I try to absorb and watch videos that way. And also I use Twitter not as specifically a social media platform. I use it as a source to gain more knowledge. So I actually I try to follow more tech related kind of like retweeters for blog posts, influencers in those spaces to find out what they're linking, what they're promoting, to find new and interesting articles and ways to like something new I'm learning or something I already know, and finding new ways to channel that information and learn something new.
Oh, okay. Now, when you are in those different things, whether it's blogs, Twitter links off of Twitter, looking on YouTube, are there topics that you're specifically looking for? Are you looking for things about machine learning or AI or web development? What topics around the languages and those core technologies that you're interested in are you looking for more information about?
A lot of the times it's I try to focus on kind of like best practices and kind of like, I don't know, a clean coding mindset. So I try to find, new and innovative and clean ways to implement new ideas or even old existing ideas. And I guess it does lean towards the web development side of things, because that's what I know. Okay. And it's more difficult to try to read an article and absorb that information when it has to do with game development or machine learning. But as I broaden my scope, then that's when I start to absorb more of those little things.
That's pretty cool. You want to sharpen your saw. You want to take those things that you do know and get better at them, figure out new techniques, new ways to structure things. That's pretty cool stuff. So when you are looking at that type of content, here's something, how to do this better. What makes that type of content a how-to? What makes that more effective for you when you're reading it?
So clean examples. So one of the things is clean examples and very clear explanations of exactly what the current problem set is, or presenting the problem, presenting the challenge of what they're presenting the problem.
Sure.
What it is, and then detailing, and then either detailing in detail why it is a problem in the first place. Because a lot of things usually just say, hey, here's a problem, here's a solution. It's kind of like when you're looking at Stack Overflow, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
But something that goes into further detail of like why is this a problem? Why is looping through an array in this manner way less inefficient? Why using one method to loop through an array is very inefficient versus using some other method, and then going into detail and then showing the solution, and then maybe even like talking about benchmarks. That's usually more to ask for, but like just kind of like problem, explanation, and solution.
Okay, very direct. Don't mess it up with all the extra stuff, all the goo around it. Don't get hairy into, other things. Get right to the solution and describe why the solution. Okay, I get it. That makes sense. So when you look at that, what makes that piece of content, that blog, that how-to, what makes that appear more developer friendly for you?
I guess the first thing is just coding examples, right? Like and clear, concise, like not snippets, like actual, like you can show snippets, but then actually linking to like a GitHub page or a gist or like Code Sandbox, one of those other like utilities that show examples, so you can actually see and play with it. That's what makes it very effective for myself as a programmer, and also I'm biased to this, but just plain language. Don't get too fancy with the way you're explaining it and use high level words. Just in plain English. Never assume that someone is of extremely technical mindset. Always assume that your audience is a beginner.
Oh my gosh, and I can't agree with you more, because when I see articles and they go through and they're talking about the best way to loop through an array to process this, and they start talking about O notation, if you didn't take computer science classes, you've lost your audience at that point. I completely agree with you. And what you're saying about a sample that you can touch, that you can run, and you can interact with, that's huge and valuable. Now, when you talk about like Code Sandbox, you're talking about a tool where you can actually run the code live in the browser, right? Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so there's Code Sandbox, I believe, is an actual website you can visit that you can actually build web applications on. So you can create a React app, just anything. You can make a website without having to install anything on your computer.
Nice.
So Code Sandbox is one. It leaves me right now with the other one. The main competitor is.
I saw Glitch. Some of the folks on Twitch Dev were using Glitch the other day. Code Pen, right? That does some of that stuff.
There you go. That's the other one I was thinking. And removing the need to actually install any of these dependencies, any sort of the stuff. So anyone that's on a Windows, Mac, on an iPad,
definitely
could see these examples and run them and even play with the code.
Yeah. Right. It's that time to first success with the content. You've shortened it immensely. Don't even have to wait for an install. That's tremendous. Now, when you are looking at reading blogs or looking for YouTube videos, how often do you expect to see new videos on YouTube or new articles on a blog from somebody that are going to interest you? And then what makes you come back looking for more?
So it's surprising on YouTube that I forget how many channels I follow, but on YouTube on a regular basis, people will post at least one video, once a week. So wow. like an example is Fun Function. He's a great example of a coder on YouTube. He posts once a week and posts quality content, and usually every channel posts at least one thing a week. So if you follow several channels, you're getting a full week's worth of stuff. And what I actually do to kind of keep for channels I like the content I like from, I actually have a Discord channel or a channel on my Discord that subscribes to some YouTube channels, and it will post when those YouTube channels release a new video.
So you've got a hook that notifies you in the Discord chat room. So you just end up then with a nice playlist sitting in your Discord chat room of here's things to watch. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was something I wanted, and I'm like, if I want this, someone else is gonna want it.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
So I can always. So now I have this clean history, no YouTube notifications on my phone or a little. I can always scroll. I'm like, what was that video? And I can just scroll up in the history and find it and rewatch it or share it out again in case I couldn't find it.
Oh my gosh, yes. Now, I mean, you mentioned Fun Function. You know, he's got some great videos out there. But when you do look at other websites and blogs, what makes a great blog? Who has a great blog out there that you enjoy reading? And what makes it great for you? Is it just the content they have is high quality, or is there something else going on there?
A good blog that I found that was, I guess, fairly new and really nice was actually Dan Abramov.
Okay.
He created a React blog. Well, first of all, like his site is interesting too because he's basically using his website itself to as a playground for building out new React stuff.
Sure.
And testing out ideas. But then also he uses it to blog and talk about new concepts or of React or thoughts of why it's not just about the code, but also about the reasons why certain things were created the way they were. And then also like at a little bit out of personal life, he's talking about there was a great blog post he did about the things that he doesn't know. Like these influencers, you always think about, oh, they know everything. Like how do they know so much? Like, Dan Abramov, he's one of the creators of React or something like that, and you think like they're like the smartest people in the world. But he has a blog post talking about everything he doesn't know. And I think that's what makes genuinely good content is just plain simple. Just talking about not just and it's challenging content too. I've tried to do that content before, and it's very challenging to just naturally talk about complex topics and bring it down to a very kind of like simple like conversational style blog post.
Oh my gosh. And I feel so comfortable doing that on video on Twitch, being able to engage and talk directly to the audience. Oh, I'm right there with you, Eric. Oh my goodness. Well, thanks so much for joining me. And this has been another Ask a Developer video.